when I was 2 years old, my parents got divorced, and I grew up thinking that that was kind of normal. Like, I never questioned it, because obviously I was 2, so I don't remember much. I never questioned it. I never wondered, like, why is my feeling different? Because I didn't know. Until obviously I got old enough and I knew that it was, like, not the normal thing. When I was 8 years old, we moved from California to Texas. And because of the divorce, we had to get my dad to sign some papers, like, allowing us to move. So we didn't see my dad often. We saw him on some weekends and some holidays, but usually he would, like, ship us to my grandma's house on his side, instead of spending time with him, which wasn't, like, too bad. She would always buy us gifts and stuff, so it was, like, not bad. But so we didn't see him too much, and so this is the last time that I saw my dad ever in my life. So I was 8, and we were moving to Texas from California. We had to get him to sign some papers for us. And I remember my mom telling us to stay in the car because they always argued when they, like, interacted, and we didn't know that. We always thought that things were, like, okay with them. So she was like, just stay in the car, and then I'll let you know when you can go see him. And I'm like, okay, cool. So we stay in the car, and then she comes back, like, 20, 30 minutes later. She's like, okay, you guys can go see him. And I remember I, like, ran out of the car, like, I had to be the first one to touch him. I had to be the first one to hug him. So I'm, like, running full speed behind my sister and my brother, or in front of. And so I'm running towards my dad, open arms, like, ready to hug him. And he puts his hand in front of me, and he says, slow down, kid. We don't hug. We shake hands. And as an 8-year-old, like, that's really hard to, like, understand why. So I thought he was kind of playing. So I was like, no, Daddy, come on. Like, I just want to hug. And he, like, pushed me down, and he's like, no, stop. And he, like, pushed me away. And so I ran back to the car, and I never spoke to him again. I still haven't spoken to him. He's tried to, like, add me on Facebook and message me and stuff. I don't answer his phone calls. I don't speak to him because as an 8-year-old, sometimes all you want is your parents to love you. And, like, I thought leaving him was going to be the most pain. I thought him leaving us was going to be the most pain that he would ever cause us. But when he refused to hug me, it, like, completely pushed the boundaries of pain that he has caused our family. And I felt like I wasn't good enough. And as an 8-year-old, to feel that kind of stuff is really, really hard to cope with as you're growing up. So he's caused a lot of pain towards me especially, but, like, our whole family. In December, I went to Atlanta for an audition for a color guard, like a professional color guard. And that first night, I called my mom crying. I was like, Mom, I'm terrible. I don't know what I'm doing here. Like, this isn't for me. Like, they're just going to tell me I'm not good enough and send me home. And so the second day was even worse. And I called my mom again crying. And then the third day, they ranked 2 on a scale of 1, 2, or 3. 1 being the best, 2 being, like, okay, and 3 being the worst. And they told me that I was ranked a 1, and it was so, so exciting because for the first time in my life, I felt like I was good enough for something, and I felt like I didn't have to be good enough for anybody else if I could be good enough for myself. And this is something that I'm, like, super happy to take with myself to, like, on tour because I'm leaving. And, like, this is one of the last things, like, I've learned about myself, and I'm really happy about it. And my mom and I fight about this all the time because she says that she doesn't want me to go, and of course I want to go. And so, of course, growing up without a dad, I kind of grew really independent because my mom was always working. My sister was too cool to play with me, and I was too cool to play with my little brother. So I grew up really independent, and so I've paid for this all by myself, and I've done all this stuff before for myself. And it's just really exciting that, like, I've done this for myself, and I'm good enough for this. And I don't need my dad's approval or anybody else's approval.